Let's do the questions right away, right?
I think also we should start thinking about the whole Anthrax attack, because a very important matter in all that 9/11 story. I think we could get some answers from you.
That's true. I mean, the Anthrax attack in the beginning, you know, it was targeted at congressmen who were about to investigate what happened really on 9/11. And then they received these anthrax letters. And then people thought, well, that's bin Laden again. You know, he's everywhere. And people were very scared. And then after a few years, it was discovered that it was not bin Laden. Okay? It was traced back to military facilities in the United States, departments for biological and chemical warfare. And then the response was that people said this was just a crazy man who got out of control and did this. That's at the moment the investigation. Whether that is true or not, you're absolutely right. It's an important question, and more research is needed on the Anthrax story. More questions?
My question is, what is missing for the next investigation?
There's the political will, which is really missing, because to do an investigation, you need American politicians to say, we want the truth. And then if they say that, they can set up a committee of independent scholars. There's a lot of very good scholars in the United States. They don't need to come to Europe. They have enough excellent scholars in the United States. They bring their best minds together and put them, you know, in a room and send everybody in who was active on that day. And then they can be questioned on the record, publicly, on all these issues. And that's really what has to happen. And the question is whether in the next 10 years we see something like that happen or not. It's not that Japan or Switzerland or Germany or South Africa or Brazil can do such an investigation. It's an American story. But you always have to think that the Americans are very deep in this. Many lost people, many lost people in the wars, many are scared to lose their job, now they are in this debt crisis. It's very difficult for them. That's something we have to keep in mind.
For me, the biggest question is the role of the press. Why no one of our newspapers ask these questions?
It is an important question because what you have today is really a division. You have, I can maybe give a concrete example. My students, they are between 18 years old and 25 years old. So they come to the seminar. I had a seminar at Basel University on 9/11. So 12 weeks, we were just dealing with 9/11. We were dealing with surprise, Lee-hop, me-hop, and everybody had to have, you know, presentations, and we went into all the details. And at the end of that seminar, everybody was completely confused. They didn't know what to believe. And I say, that's pretty good, you know, because that is a Socratic position. It's better if you say, I don't know what happened. I know that I don't know, you know, that's a Socratic position. Whereas instead if you say, I know what happened, it was this or that man, and therefore we should have this and that war. Okay, that's much more dangerous. So these students, most of them, use the internet. It's getting really bad. I mean, I'm saying in another context, which books have you read, you know, on the introduction of women voting rights in Switzerland in 1971, for instance? And they say, I didn't find anything. And I say, where did you look? And they said, on Google. Okay? They don't go to libraries anymore, they just do everything on the computer. Now, if you do 9/11 on the computer only, you're likely to end up with a me-hop or a Lee-hop version of events. Okay? So my students come to the seminar and say, oh, it's quite clear, Cheney did this, right? And I'm like, let's discuss it. And then 3 weeks later, I meet their parents. And the parents, they read the Neue Zürcher Zeitung, or they look at the Tagesschau. And they tell me, it's quite clear that bin Laden did it, right? I say, let's look at it. And the problem is, I talk to both groups, the student who is 20 and the parent who is 50. And the student thinks of the parent, he's going to be really stupid. He's always watching the news, and he has not realized that the good stories are not there anyway. And the parents think, from the next generation, I'm really scared. He's always on the internet until 3 in the morning, and he believes everything. He believes tomorrow the aliens will invade. And You know, both groups are sort of right and wrong. And that really leaves me with that situation that now universities have to take over. We have to offer the ground where everybody can come and bring his story, and then we debate, because that's how we usually work. You know, if you think about cancer research, it's not that the president decides how cancer functions, but you know, you have scientists who comes together and everybody, you know, says, oh, I found this story and I've found that story and this illness developed like that, and then take the microscope and they throw a few millions in that direction, and then we have scientific progress, okay? And we now need the same in the field of 9/11, but still today many scholars are scared. I have colleagues who tell me, if you touch 9/11, you will just ruin your academic career. Why do that? And so that's the problem. We have a problem that the press is not very well informed. And we have a problem that academics, well, you know, many don't dare to speak out, or I don't know. I actually don't know what we'll see in the next 10 years. But I'm saying the situation is not the same like in the 70s. It's not the same like in the 50s, because we have the internet. It's completely different. Yeah, sorry. It's hard to say how the press works, right? I mean, this story where Reuters reports the collapse of WT7, how do they do it? I don't know. I really don't know. But it's important to realize when people say, I don't hear anything on people who speak out with question and stuff, so they don't exist. And I always say, remember that between the event and you, there's the press. And it doesn't get to you if it's not in your daily newspaper. So if it's not in your daily newspaper, you should change your newspaper. It's always a good idea to change your newspaper again and again. Because if you just read the same newspaper all the time, you end up hating people that you don't even know, and you advocate a war that you don't understand based on a terrorist attacks that you have no clue about. That's scary. If we have one more question, otherwise, there's the last question.
Which importance do you give to the scientists and physicists in Scholars for Truth?
I think generally scientists across the globe are my hope, you know, for really bringing some structure into the debate and bringing some good data into the discourse. I mean, it's probably because I'm a scientist. I always believed in science. I think if we research hard, we find out a lot. And we research hard. If you think of historians, we've written such many books about the Second World War, all the details. We've researched Russian communism. I mean, I research oil and gas, and others have researched the development of voting rights in Switzerland. Others now look at, you know, tons of stories. There's so many stories. But we can also, if we want, shift our attention on 9/11, if we want. If we do that, we come with a very good training, okay? We question traditionally, it's our job. And we check the data, who says what, where did they say it, and then we have the physics and the architects who join us. And then if we all come together, we really have, I think, the power to make progress in this research. So I do believe in science, yes. 10 years down the road, I have to, you know, see how far we got. But yes, it's a global research, and many people are linked through the internet. I mean, you know, global science is linked. There's nobody individual anymore. You know, people send me, do you know Able Danger? And I'm like, no, I've never heard of it. Send me the data, and then zack, it comes, you know. We're much faster. So don't underestimate science. Thank you very much. I wish you good evening, safe return to home, and take care. Thank you.